Some modifications and activities discussed in this podcast should not be attempted or recreated. Make sure to keep the mods legal and obey the laws of the road and keep routine ages. Good day, podcast listeners. How you getting on? It's Conor here.
Right.
And
Michael.
welcome to the Limited Slip Differences podcast, where we talk about all things that seem to have an engine on it. And it's past my bedtime, and we're starting us at 10:30.
Well, yeah. So, episode 10 didn't exactly get off to the best start, mainly because I'm a dick,
Michael came down with a bit of stupid.
as per usual, and had both my chargers for my laptop in my work bag, because my work laptop and my normal laptop have the same charger. So, I accidentally put the two in the one bag and was left with no charger. So,
It happens.
can't break into work. So had to bring out the B plan and get
You
your
maybe
laptop
could have claimed
loaded.
a wee bit of overtime, no?
No, I don't think I'd even get in at this point.
Aye, like you'd be worried if people were still there this time.
I'd be
Well, production line, yes, but like no
questioning if anybody was in the factory at this point. Like, yeah, I would
Yeah.
be very much so.
So what's new, Michael?
Jesus, well, Connor, it's been 3 weeks since we recorded the last podcast.
Lad, it's been so long.
It has been. We are on episode 10.
Yeah.
Did you think we'd get to 10?
The main question is, does 10 people even listen to us at this stage?
Fuck it. Probably not, no. Maybe 5. I've adjusted my microphone there and I'm far louder now. I don't know if I'm maybe too loud. Fuck it. We'll
We'll get
away with it.
feedback from people saying that you have blew their eardrums out.
Well, we are at the minute, right? Because normally we record like 2 weeks in advance of every podcast. This podcast is coming out on Sunday, is now the Tuesday. So we're extremely behind. So
Yes.
I'm trying to do no editing. So this one's gonna be a fucking wing it job, like, but
Rough
yeah.
and ready.
we have been busy. It has been a busy 3 weeks.
Oh, like I know it's hay fever season, but
On hay
That's-
season,
on hay season,
on silage season.
on silage season. Oh, well, here, wait. Mother Nature has answered the prayers of the people
Oh, I but
that nobody has said because the good weather came.
Oh, unreal. We finally had a bit of good weather.
I finally have a reason to say I'm sunburnt.
Just noticing the commotions finally died a bit in the yard. At the minute, there's two tractors and slurry mixers and a boy drawn in
Or
the
if you're
yard
down
at the minute.
south,
What do they call them down south?
agitators.
Agitators. That's what we call them on work as well. But well, I suppose it's the same thing, isn't it?
It is.
Connor, we're both quite tired.
Yeah, no, well, so since the last podcast, what even happened? So
We drew grass.
we drew grass.
You got a Hondata.
I got Hondata.
My car worked and broke again. This is giddy laughter. Right, so first things first. Silage. Connor, what a day.
Oh, here.
Actually, what a day. Like,
So you were at me all along. Look, is there a possibility to get a bigger trailer? Because your possibility of getting a bigger trailer just didn't seem to fully work out. We didn't want to be on the morning of it and be like, crap, we've got no trailer. So you get on to me, and thankfully, Connor McCauley said yes.
I know.
Thankfully, you have magnetic lights.
Aye, until they came to a better end. Twice.
Well, when I asked Dom, you wouldn't mind, putting over the CB just in case they see a random light in the middle of that field. And his answer was, I don't think at 3 or half 3 in the morning anybody's going to give a fuck anymore. It's like,
Aye, he was
fair point.
probably right. I would say he was probably right. Yeah, so last year had the Fraser, which was grand. Fraser's like 8.5 ton. Grand for 1 or 2 loads. Bit of crack. But like, see, with the fate being so slow and such a small trailer, when you're drawn with a contractor, like, you just got the impression that you were in the way. You know, it really, after 2 or 3 loads, it was kind of like, right, you've kind of done your service. Like,
Well, it was the type of trailer for the size of it that you could have driv flat out everywhere. You would have had a driv flat out everywhere to sort of compensate for it. Which at the end of the day, look, it's your own tractor. You don't want to be horsing around too badly, and you were dying not with the busy, but with whatever you were
oh, I
dying
was
with.
so sick last year at the grass.
You were dying with the Indian scoot.
I don't even know what it was. I sure
Did you not have an Indian or something the night before?
no.
Oh well, you just had the scoots.
It wasn't even the scoots. I was literally, well, I had that too, but I was literally, I was fucked. Like, I was still, I think I landed yours at 4. At 2 o'clock, I was still sleeping. Like, I kept having to go back to bed and sleep. But then this year, we got, so what is my trailer? It's like 13 foot. So this year, then finally pulled out, got the 18-foot trailer, the de-engineering, Duffin engineering trailer.
Yeah.
Pulled out of Macaulay's yard, and I just looked at it and went, oh, fuck. This
Your
thing's-
words to me whenever I locked all the gates and the cows was, I think I've bit off a bit more than I can chew. And I was like, you'd be grand. Because 2 years ago, you had a 24-foot bale chiller on with 16 bales on it.
16 or 18, aye.
16, I
Aye.
had the photo of it and counted them at the time.
Yes, maybe 16 then. She pulled it dead on, like.
It was all on flat land too. But no, she pulled it grand, yes. Because
Well, I done Artloon Hill.
I had 8 bales on.
Aye, no, but I done it with a Silage trailer as well. After saying I wouldn't.
So, yes. So, most of my ground, thankfully, is basically flat.
Yes.
Very little hills.
Aye, you're
Bar,
you're-
there's 1 or 2 hills here and there. Nothing really is going to challenge anything too badly, bar what we would call one field Artloon Hill. So it looks down on a great view whenever you're at the top of it.
Aye, it's deadly.
So looks
Class.
down, you can see Loch Ney, Loch Beg,
Nelson
and
Alexander's.
you can see down
Yeah.
into Alexander's yard. Yep, and
James.
what he did. Well, I don't think he'd be doing anything at 2:30 in the morning.
Aye, you got to make money somehow.
But anyway, so me and the brother, Jared jumped in and said, "Oh, here, look, let me take us a run up the road." And I was like, "I tear away." Got to the field anyway, and we were like, "Where the fuck are they at?" He was like, "Who's in front of you?" And I was like, "Oh, I let Michael go in front of me because, well, I want. There's no point in me overtaking you or anything. I'll just let
Aye.
you tear away." And then we were like, "Holy fuck, he's doing the hill." And then I jumped out and I was looking down and I was like, "She's doing the hill. Holy fuck, she is actually doing the hill. Jesus, he's half fucking load. No, he's 3/4 loading. Holy fuck." And she still kept climbing.
I actually was looking up the Rory. Like, we were coming up to the top of the hill, and I was looking across at Rory going, slow down, slow down. Like, I was just, like, I could feel her starting to die. And I was just like,
You're lucky you had the
"Ah."
sunroof closed because he could have done to you what he done to me.
I was so funny.
So, anyway, you climb Artloon Hill and I was quite impressed. But then again, I've never really had much experience with 110s and that before.
Neither have I. Not doing that, like. That
Well-
tractor got some warming that day.
Yes, she did.
She got some
There
warming.
was probably a foot flame out the exhaust on the way up the hills over the flyover.
Up
over the
Cargan
new road.
Hill as well. Was it the one at the flyover or the one up Cargan Hill? There's two
Both.
big hills on the way back.
Both. But yeah, so I jumped out. So naturally, brother goes and takes the weigh-ins and go and lift the trailer and that. I went up to the field with you. We done the first load. I was grand, came back, and I was like, "Oh, screw it, sure, I'll jump out and take a video or two for the TikTok."
They'll TikTok.
And Rory didn't mean to, but Rory got a good video, and I'm still pulling fucking grass out of my head.
Didn't mean to. He literally got it the timing perfect as you were standing taking a video.
Because I seen this
just
tight
tilted
move,
the
and I was like, "You dirty bastard."
You hear that in the video, you just hear you going, "You dirty, rotten bastard."
Because I walked over to him after it whenever you left, and I just goes, "You're a cunt," and he came out and he said, "Oh, did I get you?" I was like, "You got me very good." He was like, "Oh, that's not so bad then," because I did it to somebody else and I actually put them on their back.
Oh, did you see one of the comments on TikTok? One of the boys is like, "All well and good till the man lifts a stone." And I was like, I never thought of that. He could have got pinged in the scone. No, my reply on
I could be dead.
Well, my reply on TikTok was, "Sure, I'll knock some sense into him."
My thoughts actually were naturally, you're fucking wasting my grass, lad. You're fucking wasting my grass.
I didn't even catch on he'd done it to you because I was sitting beside him and then I was looking at the trailer and then the next thing I seen him in fits of laughter and I was like, what is he laughing at? I was like, is he laughing at my ropey driving? And then you just see you fucking. It was a great day
Yeah.
I had by all. And I know Rory's not feared to drive that thing on, to be fair.
It was heavy, like
Aye,
it was
Tulla.
heavy. Well, so we started at 11:30, bar the shear bar and the harvester given.
Which didn't even end up needing fixed. It just needed to keep being recalibrated.
Oh, was that what so it was making a noise, then they stopped, they went and got advice, looked at it and all that carry on. Don't know what they did, but anyway, they came back then after an hour and a half and we drew then, or we worked away at it to 3:30 or something.
Yeah, 4:00 in the morning.
All I can say is whenever Gemma, God help the girl anyway, so she I got a phone, so I think Dad came into the house at 7:15 and he was like, get up, the milkman, it's the milkman's day or whatever, because he comes quite early,
Yeah.
get milk for him and all that cry on. And then Gemma was like, Connor, would you just get up? And before I could think of it, I was that crab, I was like, would you ever fuck off?
Sure, me and you fell out in the yard then. And then on the
But-
Tuesday.
You don't tell your woman to fuck off, or else
shit,
you're.
alright.
But anyway, yeah, I realised what I'd done.
I
after.
know, probably not the best.
And then I
moves.
went, I actually tell her to fuck off. It was either fuck off or fuck up. And I so rung her after and she was like, oh, I just knew you were tired. And I was like, ah, fair play.
Sure, we got to the yard then. I never actually told you what happened to the tractors to why she wouldn't start. It was the ignition switch.
Are you going to try and tell me right now you're like, I was a fucking dimwit?
No, she needed an ignition switch regardless. It was fucked. But she loosened the positive cable to the battery. And even though we had the guard off, neither of us actually thought to look at the battery.
To be fair, I had 3 hours sleep after being up. So I went from, I think it was 6:15 to the following morning about 4. I was like going into the house and obviously you were driving home and it was fucking starting to get bright again. And I was like,
I was.
Oh, is there any point in
by
this?
the time I get home?
so power nap later, crap, it was fucking.
So we got to the fate, despite being the star of the day beforehand, then was a naughty wee bastard the night after.
Did I tell you about Rory ringing me?
No.
So I was milking the cows on the Tuesday evening
Yes.
and I got a phone call from him. And I was like, oh, what is he looking now? I just crab it.
Yes.
And he was like, oh, is that Duffin trailer? Is it down at Macaulay's yard or your yard? About that. Yeah. We can't get the fate to start to get it after, so it was like, oh, that's that out the window then.
Oh, I don't think I'm going to get it for the second cut.
No, not even that. Just I couldn't. No matter if like I don't know, just the old fella said, "Oh, sure, we could try and jack it off," and I was like, "Fuck that."
Fuck that. Fuck
So,
that.
but yeah, whenever you were trying to get the Fiat going,
It was just a pantomime. It literally was a fucking pantomime. Like,
yeah, no, you were trying to do your thing. I was actually trying to pull you back up the hill to try and give you another tow, and you were like, "No, she's not starting." Then you realised to start her, and then it was like, "Oh, how the fuck are you getting home now?"
and then I was like, I need to get home. And then you were like, well, you may fucking wait till I have the milking done. And I was like, I'm not waiting till you've done your milking. And then Paddy was like, Paddy is in the middle of it, your elbow. I was like, I'll leave you home. And then you're like, you're not fucking leaving him home. And I was like, I just want to go home. Fuck off, a lot of you. And then you just came up and gave me your golf keys and goes, just take that. Fucking drive my car home. I'll get it later. And I was like, no bother. Get me out of here. And then, hey, the man of ones flashed lights at me at the way home and put the hand up.
Oh,
And I was like, yeah, must be nice being popular.
oh well.
So-
I wasn't there, so I don't know who it was.
So I was like, oh, the ones I met. And then it's been a while since I've driven like a proper static lowered car. And
What are you going to tell me next?
moving on. No, it's just having to like swerve and avoid shit and all. Like, it's been a while since I've had to do that. Like, that thing there. Obviously, driver sort of somewhat statically low, but even at that.
To Spotify listeners, he looked at the
Yeah,
Sierra.
looked at the Sierra there, yeah. Anyway, moving on from Silage, you got Hondata.
I got Hondata, yes. So I left the car down on the Monday.
Yes.
Michael was like,
Not me. Michael type 2.
Michael McBride.
Was
He was
that
like,
his surname?
yes.
I didn't know that.
I'm near sure it is. If it isn't, then somebody fucking, put me right. But anyway, that was grand. Left the car down. He was like, "Are you booked in?" And I was like, "What?" And he was like, I know I'm booked in my diary. I'm after looking on it. I was like, I messaged you privately on Facebook. Oh, fuck. And I was like, oh, this would have to happen to me. I've slagged that bastard there long enough about his car. This is going to happen to me. But anyway, no, worked something around and went back on the Wednesday thinking that all would be more or less set and done. He just do a dyno run and I go home.
Yes.
No, he was in the middle of fitting the intake because whatever way his day was screwed up, he had to run get a tool to be able to cut the thing for the Tego intake nicely.
Probably a Dremel or something like that there.
Pretty much. Somebody
Yeah.
had borrowed it anyway.
Yeah.
That was grand. Watched him fit it, asked questions and all that, carry on. And then got her in the dyno. And sort of set up a few things in the Hondata. So he showed me launch control. Very, very tempting. But I was like, I've wanted her to be able to rev out.
Aye.
So I said, can I come back and you change it back if I decide otherwise? And he was like, oh, no problem. It's just really turning on a switch. Happy days. Yeah. And then I got overrun put on. It's overrun. Whatever.
Aye.
So above 4K.
When you let off the throttle, she'll just dump fuel.
She'll pop and bang and splutter and stuff like that.
Well, you left my after you. So whenever you got it, you came down here then as well.
I had in the
Maybe the Friday.
Friday.
And then
So whenever I got it and lifted it, he was like, look, you could jump into the car and she could drive totally differently, or you mightn't notice much difference, not sure. My God, if you own an EP3, right, and you have done, your decat into your catback and an intake, you need a Hondata.
Catback.
Decat
So
into...
not kind of contradicting.
No.
Decat.
It's a catback exhaust that's on it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Michael, get it right. Fuck's sake. Anyway, quit interrupting me.
Right, come on.
Main character syndrome, cunt.
It's a thing.
Anyway, no, if you have the intake and the exhaust, you'd say from manifold back.
Yeah.
If you have that done, get a Hondata. Oh my God.
It's unbelievable.
Like,
The difference.
The car totally drives differently. Like, VTEC, not as harsh. But it's, I suppose you could say it nearly invites you more to drive it, innit?
I honestly thought whenever you were driving it, it was a far nicer car to drive once you had the Hondata in.
Oh, totally.
And,
totally.
don't get me wrong, it's not like it was a bad car to drive in the first place. But even the way it brings on the delivery of power the whole way up to the limiter, like, I found whenever you had the standard car, it was quite,
You had...
as you got to the limiter, you nearly felt like you had a change. But now it's so smooth. You nearly want to go and just get to the bar. And it's,
I like
just
VTEC.
sounds so much better.
The VTEC, whenever you're in the crossover, it's not like, you're brap and then you get the real, you totally know it's in the high lift cam. It's less aggressive, but still doing the same thing.
So addictive.
But anyway, the Hondata limiter is so nice, and the way I always drove the car was limiter, change gear, but blip in between. Just happens that a 4-foot flame now comes out.
You left my house that night, and it was like sort of the way this night's probably going to go, or the way most sunny days go. Hold on. I'm not even editing that out, but I had to burp.
Judging by the last two podcasts, you haven't edited anything out.
My laptop can't cope. It's great. You left my house, right? And the next thing, first gear, and you let limiter, then you let off, and she just, I didn't see it, obviously, but all I heard, because I was standing at the back door listening, and all I heard was this massive bang, and I was like, ooh, that sounds good. Then second gear, see him again, bang, bang. I was like, holy fuck, that thing. Like, it sounded good anyway, but just when you had that in, just it's so aggressive and Like, we're kind of contradicting ourselves because we're saying it's so aggressive, but we're saying it's far nicer to drive. The car is just, it's just a completely different animal now compared to what it was.
Oh, completely. So the limiter's raised a wee bit, but she's just on the Hondata base file. So
For
from
now.
what I can remember, back in the day, if you would have sent your ECU to Hondata to get it flashed, as they talked about,
Mm-hmm.
they basically put a K100 with this file on it.
Yes.
So it's essentially just on, it's the fueling and the ignition time and all that carry on hasn't
Yeah.
been fine tuned for the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
She's probably running a wee bit rich, which is probably why you're getting the massive bangs out of her.
oh, I know totally. Yeah. The other thing that is quite interesting about it is the Bluetooth app.
Aye. That's some job.
You can see your miles per gallon.
I don't think you'd want to.
You know what I was told when I said that? I have never actually had somebody seem excited by that.
Why were you excited about that?
Just out of curiosity. See, I floored the pickup one day and she done 4.3 miles a gallon.
That sounds about right, actually.
Well, the 2 litre diesel one.
Yeah, they're. No, that's some job, like.
But so the car got that done. Silage happened. Dry weather. Cows are now at grass again. Coming in clean. Milking sped up a bit.
I got my brakes fixed,
You got your brakes fixed.
and then my alternator died on the way back from port.
Yes.
That was a scary run home. Turbo petrols do not like running lean. Now, so AFR, okay, so your stoichiometric ratio, as it's called, ideal fuel is 14.7. Anything below that's considered rich, and anything higher than that's considered lean. So, naturally aspirated cars can actually run lean. It's not really an issue with them. When you come on boost, you
There's
want
nowhere near the same pressures in
No.
the piston.
when you come on boost on in a turbo car, you want to be down at like sort of 11, 12, really, is where sort of to make sure you've got no issues. So my car, when I left the port, bearing in mind I'd been sort of anti-lagging her and giving her a bit of Dixie the whole time down there. And I have to admit, she was a bit slower to limit her, and I was kind of like, right, okay. So then I parked her up, and she was driving fine. Started her up, driving fine, and then I, coming out heading up to the first roundabout, coming out of Port Stewart, like heading for Coleraine, out the roundabout way, out the ring road. I went to go, and she like died on boost. So I was like, fuck's sake, right? Can't do anything. And then by the time I got over the new bridge and said bye to you, I was like, I've signalled to you. I was like, she's not boosting. And you're like, best luck. And then I looked at my.
I thought you were just waving. Bye bye.
No, I looked at my AFR gauge, and the AFR was reading like 1.04, and I was like, oh fuck, this thing's running lean. Now, I drove my car at home at about 40 mile an hour.
Is she full of 99 all the same?
No, 95.
What?
Sure, I have my car mapped to run 95.
I know, but what I mean is, if you put 99 in it, you're still giving yourself that. But even if she is running lean, she'll still.
She was. The thing is, I just ran her off boost. She should be dead on. But it's just, so as I was getting on home, next thing the battery light came on. I went, all right, here we go. Power steering started to get very bad, and she just was. You give you had to nearly floor, or not floor, but you had to give the car more petrol to give it to get the revs up, so she would like rich herself out. But in doing that, then when you rev the car, she starts firing boost. So then the whole thing kind of works its way back. So I drove home mainly sitting about probably 15.5 on the AFR. Well, I have it reading lambda, so perfect stoichiometric ratio. Lambda is 1. My car normally sits about 0.9, 0.8 when you give it boost. It was probably anything between 1.05 to 1.1, which is not great. But anyway, got her home, and I mean, it sounded like a bag of fucking nails. It sounds so bad at the minute. So the alternator, probably for the load I have on it, because I'm running the Astra Power steering pump and I have the hydraulic suspension, I'm asking it to do quite a lot. So I kind of knew it was probably going to happen. So you can get a bigger alternator. It's 95 in it at the minute. You can get a 130 amp. So I have that coming. So hopefully that fixes the problem. Should be again for Donegal.
Will it be ready for Donegal?
Nah, fuck knows.
Oh, it's bound to
I had
be.
as much fun going down the passenger seat of your car like as I did driving my own car. In fact, probably more fun because your own car's there, you are not there. You don't give a fuck. Whereas when last year, my own car, especially as Donegal was literally like the first proper run out for it, all I did was worry. Now, I know my car doesn't lift the hand in traffic. I know now I've sorted the idle and stuff like that there. She will be fine. It's more just some drunk cunt falling into the side of it now is what worries me. That could happen anywhere.
It could.
So, which leads us on nicely, Donegal.
So today's topic
So today's topic.
is pre-Donegal.
Pre-Donegal. So we're going to split. We're going to do a two-parter. I know we're moving up in the world. It's nearly like a documentary. So we're going to do a two-parter here. So this one's going to be pre-Donegal, and the next one's going to be post-Donegal.
National slip differences.
Did I inform you that's what the plan was?
What was this?
That the next one was going to be post-Donegal.
Yes.
All right. Okay. No, because yeah.
We might not be National Geographic, but we're National Slip Differences.
National slip. Your sleep alarms just went off.
Yes.
You'll
I'm
not
not
have
joking.
you'll-
My bedtime reminder.
You'll not have heard that on the camera. But Connor has a wee alarm that like makes the go
It
to
means
sleep.
I get my ideal sleep.
Connor, I have yet to see you get that. Like you're here most nights and it goes off when you're standing in my shed.
Not even going to fucking argue with that now.
So yeah, look, Donegal Rally is probably the closest thing Ireland has to H2OA combined with Gadibil, combined with Watersea, combined with Buckfast, combined with Diffin.
It's Worthersea, but with Jap cars and farmers.
Yes.
And if anybody doesn't know what Worthersea is, it's essentially a village in
it's
Austria, is
actually,
it?
Yeah, Austria. It's actually
and
it's finished.
it's
Watersea's done, but
essentially just where all modified German cars go and meet up.
Yes.
Now it could be anything from an Audi R8 or a Lambo to Polos and
your
Golfs.
1.4 TDA Polo.
Instead, Donegal is where
Well,
if the Japanese were over, they would feel at home.
Yeah, well, so especially the South has always had a massive Japanese culture. Obviously, in the North was still kind of footering about with Golfs, even up until probably 2017 or whatever. Really, the Euro scene was still massive up here. The Southerners were always doing the Jap stuff. And it kind of makes me sad when you look back, like when I think back of my first time going to Donegal, which was 2015, and like seeing S13s, S14s, S15s, and they were a fucking dime a dozen, like, and them cars were cheap fun, boys were out wrecking in them, no fucks given. To be honest, I would say the Southerners still don't care. They are mad. I would say the Southerners are madder than the Northerners. Now, you get a few crazy ones up here too, but like, they always said that as whenever, like, especially like the likes of Sierras and Twin Cams and stuff like that, when they go down south again, because of cheap NCT or cheap tax and all that there, they tend to end up being driven harder. The Southerner boys just seem to drive them on, which fair play. So, yeah, Letterkenny, despite being further north than probably even where we're sitting right now, is technically in the south. So
Just Ireland.
But basically, so by rights, it's the Donegal International Rally. So
Yes, ironically, it's a rally that very little people really go and see the rally. Well, like, I've never watched the
it's
stage.
very, very split in two. You will get people who go to the rally who go, I couldn't give a fuck about any of them cars. I don't want to go and see some boy hoop around a cone. I want to actually go and see some rally car, which a few of the boys I work with, like, they're all going to the Donegal Rally and they're camping up like near Carrickeel with the intentions of going to Port Salim, to go and see Knockalla. And that is their plan for the rally. Now, these boys are in the cars, but they're going up for the rally. Whereas we'll be going to the port to go to Applegreen and King of the Cone.
So we'll be going to the
port.
port.
Fuck off. We'll be going to Letterkenny to go to Applegreen and King of the Cone. And
Lad, when the port get an Applegreen.
there's an Applegreen in the way to the port. Ballymena. Anyway, there's an Applegreen at the port.
No, there isn't.
Is that shop that used to be Cost Cars? Is it not an Applegreen now?
No. Not that I'm aware of.
down
Anyway.
from the Tesco's heading down the town.
Right,
Anyway,
this is
we're
not the
digress.
port discussion.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I probably am. So we'll be heading down to see
All you
all
need
that.
to know is it's not Lidl.
Do you know I actually had a fella in work give me stick today about my Lidl fleece? I was so affronted.
Right, you are.
No, he said to me, he goes, he's like, I seen your Lidl fleece, Scully. And I was just like, did you know? And he goes, he's like, it's fucking disgusting. And I was like, I do not appreciate your opinion, Jordan. So normally everyone descends down on the Friday first, and I'll be honest, I don't even know what people do half the time because there's so many other like we all talk about King of the Cone. King of the Cone is kind of like the OG diffing yard. You've also got Letterkenny Carton. You've also got Ferry's Yard. You've also got the Manor. There used to be the NCT Centre as well, I think, at one point, but it hasn't been going now as well.
Well, that's ironic, isn't it?
Yeah. It's I remember at one point, this was 2015 or 2016. I wasn't there in 2016, so it must have been 2015 or 2017. I was speaking to a lad in Alteza, and I was like, "Oh, are you going to King of the Cone?" And he said, "No." He goes, "That's where it's nearly too rash. I'm going somewhere else." And I couldn't remember where he said he was going. I think he may have been going to the NCT Centre. And now it's kind of turned on its head. It's like King of the Cone, like especially Aidan Gore put up like that thing recently, like about having roadworthy cars. Probably because Core's crowd's going to accept more like twin cams and Sierras and boys that, I suppose boys are not wanting to go wrecking with some man on a Lexus who can steer but doesn't give a fuck if he puts a panel or two out of it.
Do you prefer King of the Cone OG or the new King of the Cone?
I quite like the old one. The new one,
the old one had character. The new one
will be good because this year, so last year they put in like a fully like power floated floor, nearly. Then when they put water on, it just become a skating rink. It's kind of nearly ironic that they've kind of like hatched it up a bit. So when they put water down, the cars will actually slide a bit better. Like,
they've roughened it.
Yeah, they've roughened it. So. But like, even the way you stood up in the hill, it was good. The old system was quite good because you were standing right beside the tires, But the new one now is good. We didn't hang about long enough last year for King of the Cone because the day went on and we went to Letterkenny Carton, which Letterkenny Carton, to be fair, normally is pretty good. But because King of the Cone went on for so long last year, Letterkenny Carton didn't pull the same crowd either then. So we kind of sort of screwed ourselves over both ways, but this year I'll definitely be staying for the end of the King of the Cone because I missed Archie winning, which was a bit fucking raging about because I'm friendly enough Archie, would have been nice to have seen him win.
But you got an award.
I did. So I think it's maybe the only award I've ever won in my car. But
you got an award.
So speaking of King of the Cone, I actually reached out to Aidan Core today. Also told him if we were a bigger deal next year, I'd bring him on the podcast.
So by episode 35. Hopefully, we will have 35 listeners.
Probably 30. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Told Cara bring him on the podcast. So I actually reached out to him and asked him. So there's been a few different winners of King of the Cone. What car do you think has won King of the Cone the most?
Twin cam.
Yeah. Conor McAleer has won King of the Cone 4 times.
Won it literally year on year for a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, I think it was him and Archie in the final last year. Conor McAleer can fucking steer. His car's class. It's got like a half cage in it. It's like sort of a Jap style.
Is it like
It's the grey one.
Grey over graphite?
Yeah, I think so. It's a class looking car.
Or no, is it not bottom half of it not like sort of silvery, no? Or maybe I'm thinking stupid.
I think you're right, actually.
It's like BBS style wheels on it.
Mesh
Mesh
wheels. Then Johnny Irwin won it a year. Graham McCorkle won it. I think Graham McCorkle won it in 2017. And I think he was against Conor McAleer in the final. And then Dean Crozier won it, I think, in 2019. And I remember being very depressed because it was the first time a Lexus had ever won King of the Cone, and I just remember sitting going, well, there's Lexus prices through the roof. And I was not wrong. Lexus prices have indeed went through the fucking roof.
But what year was this you're talking about?
2019, I think, was the year Dean Crozier won. And then obviously nothing happened in 2020 or 2021. And then Archie won it last year. So Ben Archie says he's coming out this year for one last hurrah. A few of the other boys are all giving a wild pile of shit about it. Gary Kerrigan says he's going to go out in style. I would say Conor McAleer will be back to try and take his crown. So it should be a good watch. There was some real. King of the Cone was very interesting last year.
Well, the one thing I found about it was, you know, the way you're saying the OG would have been more rash looking and that sort of way.
Yeah.
Well, like for the bystander, that like basically the women that aren't in the cars and they were fucking there just to look at it and to be there with their partners and that. There's a great bit of drama last year at it,
Fuck, sure didn't we see two Lexus turbos go up and fire right in front of us?
and then a nice S14, a black one, put the quarter in.
Was not a chaser.
Manchester did
Wait,
it too.
wait. Oh, was there an S14?
S14 put the full quarter onto it.
And do you remember there was this purple Jap spec twin cam and he was diffing and it launched all this smoke?
I found that apparently whenever you are diffing them, they will, whatever way it's in the sump to pick up, they'll pick up whatever way they'll pick up, and they will burn a bit of oil, but they'll clear themselves out of it.
I wondered why he kept the toe in her.
Oh, I know.
Because she went the very best.
She clears it.
I mean, everybody going, ooh, when that happened, and we were like, fuck, some man's just done a 4-edge. Like, that thing there, like I wouldn't want to be buying a 4AG engine. Like, and the next thing he just kept going, and I was like, right. And then
a cat with 9 legs.
Fuck. And then there was the two Lexus turbos went on fire, which that's the bit that would scare me. Now,
would it? Was one of them not with a turbo? It didn't have a turbo blanket on it.
I don't think either of them had a turbo blanket.
So the heat of the engine probably, the heat of the turbo didn't help them.
Well, like, diffing turbo cars is not good for him. Ali has forbade me from going to King of the Cone. Like, I remember sort of bringing it up around him. Not that I would. Well, I say I wouldn't have the balls. Like, I've done diffing before. Like, and I said about King of the Cone. He goes, "You better not be taking that fucking car into King of the Cone." And I was like,
"Here comes the Derry accent."
No, no, I was not thinking about that at all. Of course, everyone else will go no balls, but they're not going to be the ones paying for my fine or my fee whenever she turfs herself up in flames. Like, I do have a turbo blanket and all, but that car does get deadly warm even when diffing. Sure, we found that out. Throw 3 or 4 hoops and the temperature on starts to climb. They're just
but
big
you
turbos.
were doing a lot of fucking about before that.
I was doing all the anti-lag and all that.
Yes. If you were doing no anti-lag and maybe doing a wee bit of diffing.
And found out that my turbo manifold, or not my manifold, my turbo was loose.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, so that's just, that's another thing needs done. I need to get Nordlock washers in the turbo, try and keep that fucking thing down. Pure nightmare. Put a thicker gasket on thinking that would help, and I think the thicker gaskets made things worse because she compresses and tightens and compresses and tightens and or compresses and extends, just under heat. I think, and half of it's missing anyway. It's been blown out with the anti-lag.
John, what I always found with Donegal, half the hype behind it was you would have went onto YouTube and you would have seen the after movies.
Yeah,
and it's hard to beat "Take Me Away" with a lot of diffing on it. And then somebody changing the B to F.
Yeah.
I think it was 2015 or something.
Yeah, it was. It was. Christy with a K. MC Christy with a K. I know the exact video you're on about. Yes.
And then you had...
I still periodically look that up. You do too, don't you?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Or even...
Because that was my first year at Donegal as well, so I always kind of be a bit special.
And then you had John Reid, God rest him.
Yeah.
Him doing the courthouse. And then you had John's family... the year after it.
Yes.
And
go on, John's sister.
Go on, John's brother.
They do this year, funny they said, they're doing like a full commemoration at King of the Cone for John, Ken Block, Manus Kelly, was he called your man?
Yes.
Craig Breen.
Yeah.
There's someone else.
Yes. I
can't remember either, and that's very disrespectful. I don't remember, but I know there's a 5th person. So they're doing that as well, just when you bring up John. But yeah, I suppose you can't really. We've kind of bummed up King of the Cone a bit here because I suppose it's the Northern boys and kind of don't want to say stick to your own, but I mean,
it's the most well known, I think, different competition there is in Ireland.
And Cor's a good show person. He's funny on Facebook and he brings up a big crowd. He's good at drumming up.
Is he not running basically buying and selling twin cams and stuff now.
Aye, core performance or something. But
Yeah.
like he was part of the Full Throttle crew.
Oh
Yeah,
yes, back in the days
back in the day, 2011, him and Johnny Irwin, and there was someone else.
at Fentana.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
there you go then. There
He
you
was one of
go.
them boys. So he would have the reputation from that, and then sure, the rest of the boys that done all the judging at King of the Cone were the McGillians that do Eglinton.
Oh,
So the boy, because I remember the boy that was doing like the speaking on the microphone at Eglinton was, or at King of the Cone, was the fella that takes the money off you at the gate at Eglinton when you're going drifting. Rest in peace, Eglinton. At Wilbymast. At fucking Wilbymast. I loved Eglinton. What else? But as I was saying, like, so, to be fair, some of the best things I've seen at the rally have actually been at Letterkenny Carton. It's just for sheer rashness. I remember bouncing in with Stevie McMullen. This is 2018. He had the purple Lexus.
okay.
It wasn't even MOT'd in tax, so he had to drive it everywhere in the back of a recovery lorry.
Oh Jesus.
In typical Stevie fashion. And I bounced in with him to go round Letterkenny Carton. Now, Stevie can steer. There's no doubt about that. But I mind just being in the backseat of the car and there's just, it is carnage. Like, it's literally just like a scene from a movie where there's just stuff going bang all around you. I mean, it's not just buzz up, but like, you know, you're literally looking and the next thing some man's literally trying to bounce off your door. Like, and Stevie was like, come on the fuck, where are you at? And I was like, because obviously Stevie being a painter, like, just doesn't care. He can put, and that was back when Lexus were still cheap. So you could buy a door, paint it, put another one on, be dead on. But it's rash, like, and it's quite good, like, to just watch as well. I think Letterkenny Carton would be good this year after King of the Combe. But the one that took us by surprise as well was Ferry's Yard.
It was very good.
It
yeah.
was really good. But then King of the Combe wasn't on in 2021.
So they got the crowd.
So they did get the crowd because there's a lot of ones down there. Like, you know, I remember speaking to the likes of Michael Naughton, Mark Graham was there. We were talking to Oren McCurdy and Pascal and Emmett and all them boys were all down. You know, people that you would see at even likes of King of the Cone and all were all there. So I suppose it was probably just the place for everyone to go at that time. But it was there not a 2JZ E39 BM? And there was
a V8 powered X5.
there's a V8 powered X5 rear wheel drive. And the man was like called Screechy or something like that there, and everyone was going, "Go on, Screechy!" or so. I can't remember his nickname, but and it could fucking steer.
But so that was the year that. So I drove down,
Yes.
and then you were passenger anyway, and all was grand.
I spent most of the day hitting the roof of your.
I get home, and I know Team Heco window deflectors wouldn't be the best things in the world. But mine was hanging off because you kept on bouncing your hand off it.
I just like literally all day, every time you were hitting a lemon, or I was just like, "Way!" and just bouncing my hand off the roof, and then yeah, your wind deflector doesn't work very well now.
Well, I had a 3M tape it to the car. Actually
Yes.
worked out well because I done away with the clips, and then I put the 3M tape actually on the ledge. It sits in and just stuck it to the window.
That was a great like that was a good year. Like I remember like
I rung you.
Applegreen was like it was rammed, it was buzzing. You rung me, I was like, where are you at? And I was like, oh, I'm standing on top of a fake limo.
I'm like, all right, okay. Can I go home now?
And you were like and I think by this stage we like 1:30.
Yes.
And you were just like, I still have to drive because you were just going to drop me off at Bacchus, which is handy for me. And you were like, I still have to drive the whole way home, and I was like, oh, fine. And I remember just randomly walking about, like, and there was some lad with a white Alteza, and then I was like so upset because obviously I just sold mine. Like,
yeah, you definitely let me know about it anyway.
yeah, like a week before that, and I was just like, oh, I was like, I had one of them too, sold it, never should have got rid of it. Literally had sold it the week beforehand, and I was so distraught. Like,
But even like, so the port on a Sunday is.
but we weren't talking about the port.
Fuck off, Mr. Button. My fucking time.
Go on. What were you saying?
So the port on a Sunday is good.
Yes.
Easter Sunday is obviously something else.
You know what we said about this, but Easter Sunday this year was something else.
That's yes.
yeah, was
Um,
something else.
Letterkenny. So sorry. The best way to put it would be, suppose in Ireland you have like your main, not car shows, but
Events,
events where
part
like
of the zeitgeist.
everybody just fucking lands down.
It's just a culture.
So like Easter Sunday was always just, you always drove to it, whatever car, whatever your pride and joy was.
Literally,
Then
the
you
whole
had-
idea of doing up your car was for Easter Sunday at Port Stewart.
Yeah. Then you have Donegal Rally, where literally the whole of Ireland flocks to it.
Yeah.
Brings out their nice toys.
Mm-hmm.
It is more recently, I suppose you could say, it's went fully Jap. Before wouldn't have been just as Jap, because obviously a lot of ones were driving the bags and stuff, as you said.
Yeah.
Then you have now, which has sort of come about his last few years, Bundoran in July.
Yeah.
I would like to do that if it works out.
Well, we have. Only thing is with July. Well, I don't know about you, but when is Bundoran? Is it the first weekend in July?
You might need to add text in at this point. I can't mind.
Neither do I. Someone, I'm sure, will correct us in the comments.
But like it, a couple of years ago,
Racetown. I thought I heard someone reckon.
sounds like an E46 M3 or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
The camera will not pick that up. None will pick that up. That's a way off in the distance. But on a clear night where I'm at, you can hear.
far away.
Sure, Connell, when he bought my Alteza, like after he first bought it, like I'd be down here. Connell's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles as the crow flies, and I could literally hear him practicing diffing in his yard. Just a wee tear just rolled down.
The one that got away.
Never sold that car.
But anyway, you've been Dorn, and then suppose after Bundoran, would you say Jap Fest would have been the next real thing?
LZ Fest now in July.
Well, you still have Jap Fest too, but suppose like they were the three things where anybody went. So
Mhm.
yes, your show people,
Yeah.
your farmers,
And you're people who have nice cars but don't take them to shows. Typically.
yes.
Yeah.
So, like, sure, last year, I thought this was kind of goals. Seeing a lad in a Mark II Escort, him, the wife, and the two Wayans in the back.
Yeah, that's
And I was
class.
like, that is cool.
That's class.
And we were all like, light her up. And they was like, not today. But and like, since the whole TikTok things became now the new norm, not YouTube, there's maybe 100 young cubs standing beside Applegreen now.
It is a bit annoying, like
That's what
especially when you first start the car and everyone's going, light her up, light her up. It's like, I literally can't rev this thing or I will blow piston 3 to the moon, like.
yes. But, so, main parts of Donegal, so Applegreen, Ferry's Yard, King of the Cone. The
If
Carts
you can
Centre
get up the hill, the main street, before they close it off.
is deadly. Is that your phone nearly dying?
Yes.
So, you got your phone charged.
Yeah, so actually, if you're listening to this,
His
On-
head's completely away.
if you're
He's-
listening to this on Spotify or watching this on YouTube, there'll probably just be a big fucking slice down the middle.
The brain cells have left the building this evening.
Well, you'd mentioned something and I might take out my phone. My phone died in my pocket.
I can't mind what was mentioned.
And my phone died in my pocket and it had all my mentions and ideas. So I had to then run and get a phone charger. So I've had to just put
Enlighten us, Michael. What are your ideas?
Well, the same thing I do every week for like the end.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You'll have to just listen on then.
Yeah. For big old skater one wheel pill. I just have them down as that's what I call my ideas to talk about.
In the words of Michael, I have fuck forgot.
Tends to be then so
That would have been very loud.
so
That went through the roof.
I'm
right?
I'm even just trying to think back, but as you say, so you've got the port and then Donegal's like a normal and Bundoran. It's kind of all them events where everybody goes. You'll literally see anybody and anybody of every walk of life, as you say. Like for instance, last 2021, there was that absolutely mint Carina, the white one.
Yeah. Oh,
And I was like,
yes.
holy fuck, it's a Carina E. That is class. You'll see so many weird and wonderful things. Donegal 2018 is when Adam and Creth first learnt the key banging trick. some boy in a red BN Sport kit at Lexus, which should widened arches, set like Lorenzo wheels or something on her. He was doing the banging, and then Adam and Krath were both like, "Oh, how do you do that?" And then he was like, "Oh, when you're limiting, you just flick the key." And they were like, "All right." And at this stage, nobody was doing this. So I'm not gonna say Adam and Krath were the first; they weren't. But there was nobody doing it before that, and then suddenly they were doing it, telling everybody else how to do it, and then everybody else was doing it. Because I can remember whenever Krath's car especially had an unbelievable backfire when he key banged it, and I remember people used to think he'd anti-lag on her because it was so aggressive.
Now it gets to you're down at Letterkenny and it's Friday about 6 or 7 o'clock. Your fucking eardrums are done with IS200s
Just the
and
sound
key banging.
of one GFE, just key banging.
Because you walk
everywhere.
around Applegreen and it's literally wanted them bang, and you're like, fuck, my eardrums are gone today.
Nah, there's only so much that you can take, like. But as you say,
It's like Silage. It's deadly for a day. And then whenever you get older, fuck that.
So to be fair, have we done our discussions of Donegal much justice? Probably not.
Probably not, no.
Probably not. We've probably just talked about the same thing everybody else knows already. I don't think we're telling anybody anything new. Although, do you know what would be a good life goal? If we were able to get roped in to like doing a live podcast or something at King Lacone next year. It's not going to happen.
No.
I'd say if on the unlikely chance Hayden Carr actually listens to this, he'll just be like, "LOL." But we did live correct, like, to be fair.
No.
No,
No. It's alright for you, main character.
Why? What's wrong with you?
It's alright talking to a screen and a desk. Be a bit different with other people. Now, it was awkward whenever Johnny was in there because it felt weird to be blanking somebody whilst doing this.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Just for anybody that actually, although we have kind of explained it, that wouldn't be quite sure and isn't from Ireland, like them events like Donegal Port, it is just where everybody just meets up at the one location.
Yeah, pretty much.
And just has the crack.
Yeah.
Like the port, fuck the bastards way we water pistols. Nearly got me.
But I remember doing that.
But it makes it.
Yeah, it does. Like, I remember us doing that back like 10 years ago. I can remember us out with water pistols at the port.
Like, the port 2 years ago. No, not even, sorry. Letterkenny last year and the port 2 years ago. My car identified as a sport.
Had you no badges?
No, it identified as a sport.
Oh, okay.
God, you are slow tonight.
Not even taking on any cylinders. I think I've melted
It's
my
like
own pistons.
Rory thought I identified as a trailer and then he realised I wasn't any good at it.
I just identified as slow. But
So, will we wrap Donegal up there at that?
Aye, pre-Donegal. So this comes out Sunday. Sunday is a date. Sunday's what, the 11th, probably?
Hold on, I'll check that.
This will be out the 11th. Donegal is in the week after. So yeah.
Sunday's the 11th.
This will be out on Sunday. So yeah. After Donegal,
If anybody sees it at Donegal and recognises, don't be afraid to shout over.
Aye, it'd be nice. It's nice. We always do appreciate it whenever people come up and say stuff to us.
Don't be feared for. We're very approachable people. Especially Michael. He'll jump out in front of me.
Just depending.
Michael will jump out in front of me and be like, "Hey guys."
Main character syndrome kicks in. Right. So let's move on.
You should wear your Lidl jumper and people will definitely know who you are.
Maybe 4 people who have watched the podcast, then yes.
Well, 5 maybe.
5 maybe, yeah. Right, moving on, because time is a ticking here and we've still plenty of stuff to go through, to be fair.
Holy shit, it's actually been an hour.
Well, don't forget there's probably...
Well...
If you're listening to the podcast, we're probably in 50 minutes. We're looking at it here. It's an hour, because there's a couple of things needed edited out, even though I said I didn't want to do any editing. Still going to have to do some editing. What I'll do tonight is probably... You can send me that. And I'll start loading up. Anyway,
shut up.
Why we're talking about that in the pod.
Yes.
Uh,
There we are. I don't know.
versus challenge. Okay, do you want to go first or will I?
Yeah. So, funny enough, I was in the parlor 3 weeks ago.
You're a bit quiet there.
I was in the parlor 3 weeks ago. Does anybody hear me now? I probably do.
Jesus, right now that's anyway.
That's
Yeah,
too
yeah,
loud.
yeah.
On the 16th of May, I came up with this.
It's nearly a month ago,
It is. So my versus challenge is this,
right?
right? We'll make it Donegal related. Fuck it.
Yeah, mine's Donegal related too.
Right, Michael.
Yes,
You've been tireless here.
right.
There's 30 grand up for grabs.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
You've Jack Shanahan in a twin cam.
Uh-huh.
You've Conor Shanahan in a twin cam.
Uh-huh.
Who's going to win King of the Cone? And you get 30 grand.
Honestly, I think Connor.
Oh, I thought you'd be hemming and hawing there, but obviously not.
No, because Connor has done like the Red Bull street drifting. Do you remember like we went and watched it that time up at Titanic? And I was like the whole red, like the car park drifting thing.
Yes.
So it's a lot tighter and technical.
But you never seen Jack,
Did never see Jack, to be fair. So I can only go on what I know.
and Jack has one more.
Yeah, but maybe Connor's better in first gear slides. Connor's maybe better in the cone. Rings, lad.
Yeah, fair point, yes. So you would say you'd put the 30 grand on Conor.
I would put the 30 grand in Connor. What happens if Jack wins?
You don't get it. That's why it's there's a bit of
So any hope of me owning a chaser's gone then, okay. No, I'd put it in Connor.
fair enough.
I'd
fair
put it
enough.
in Connor. Mine's is Donegal Rally related, but it's not car related.
Okay.
Right. So, what's one of the best things about King of the Cone?
Diffing.
The music.
Yes.
So, DJ Johnny O'Neill, who does play absolute fucking bangers, by the way,
And his remixes are class.
our class. Okay, can't DJ for a year, and Cora's come up to you and said, "Here, Connor, I need you to pick a DJ for me. Got two options: Darren Stays or DJ Rankin. Who you going for?"
Is that even a contest for that type of an event?
I'd have thought so.
DJ Rankin.
I'd have thought Darren Stays would have been very good for it.
Aye, but whenever you look at the Clubland Classic Night Out,
True, yeah.
DJ Rankin's in it. It's not
yeah.
Darren Styles.
Never even thought of that. Okay, my question didn't go as much as I thought. But
Neither did mine.
does make a very valid point though. Like half the time at King of the Cone, you're standing there watching the cars and you're just going, fucking tune.
Yeah. Do you want to know another thing, right? This I have, well, right. So the majority of the ones, I would say, well, you see a lot of brown shoes around King of the Cone.
Yes.
A lot of tailor boots.
A lot of super
Dry hoodies and stuff,
super
yes.
dry hoodies, super dry polos. The more colours, the better diffing you are, allegedly.
The bigger the belt. The bit, you know.
Yeah.
Like, farmers, realistically, in regards to music, I'd say they're pure rave music.
Yeah.
Or country.
Or country.
Like two
or
opposites.
sometimes bootlegs.
Oh, majority of it's bootlegs.
Yeah. Like, so it's the rave music is
And then
typically
the
Luke
best of
Combs
it.
turned into a bop, like
Oh, yes. That's all I was going to say.
SoundCloud classics. Actually, that's all TikTok is.
Oh, it's deadly music.
Yeah.
Deadly music. Like, right, here's one for you, actually.
Yes.
Because we're talking about King of the Cone. What would you say is the best tune to diffing?
Oh.
It comes on
Fuck.
and you're around the cone and it makes you horn to the stones, lad. To just send her around.
I think the remix, the Billy Lucas De Jong mashup of Natty Alley, Rapture, and Billy Gillies. Can't remember what Billy Gillies, but it's in my head. I can't even do it justice. I remember it came on at King of the Cone last year. So I remember looking at you and going, "That song's fucking class."
I know what song you're on
You're-
about. That is
yeah.
very good, yes.
I don't want to say Invincible, but I don't think it is Invincible. But Billy Gillies anyway. Adam McCartney was always a big fan of Voodoo and Serrano, Blood is Pumping. Do you know that one?
I need to hear it.
It's like nearly like an acidy. What's yours? Ultimate Let's Go Diffing.
I don't know. There's something about Take Me Away.
Yeah.
Oh, like it is.
Yeah.
Like Take Me Away, and you have twin cams, Sierras, whatever different AS200s, Omegas. Unreal.
Yeah. Take Me Away.
It is,
Yeah.
I think it's up there. Like,
Yeah.
let us know what you think.
That's actually probably a one you can put out to TikTok, to be fair, if I can edit it to make it a bit shorter. That's a good one. I wish I could have done that Billy Gillies, Lucas De Jong mashup a bit more justice by remembering what the song it was combined with was called, but because it.
Another thing about Donegal as well, just before we wrap it completely up. If you're down south, you call it a scan, and if you're up north, you call it a sham.
Give them the scan.
The amount of hands, and if people haven't a fucking clue what it means, well, they're bound to have a clue what it means. But the amount of them that, yeah.
Sure, is it next level or next exit? Sorry,
Oh, jeez.
next level. That's the drift competition in.
Oh my
Muldoon.
god!
Next
You
exit.
butchered the name.
Next exit. Sure, the haze that video. He's
They'll be
like,
calling us limited shite differences now.
not far wrong. To be fair. We're maybe the one wheel pills in this in the podcasting world. Because like Chris Clever's one of the, you see one of the boys, you gotta throw him the scan. And I'm just like, it's a sham. It's a sham, man. Throw him the sham. But it's just the
Or
cultural
the,
differences.
do you mind the photo when it was like when you know your neighbour, one finger?
Did you ever see you can get this thing here as well? It's like you stick it to your dash. It's like a model. It's just like 2 fingers doing that all time. It's like you'll never miss a person ever again. It's just literally this thing here. You stick it to your
Out of
dash.
curiosity, right? You see that road out there
Yeah,
from your house?
yeah.
Do you find that everybody you meet on it? You put the
Yeah, absolutely.
see you out from Tim. Literally, I have a fucking clue who half a mile.
You come round if someone.
And see if they don't put the hand up. You're a dirty
Oh,
bastard.
if you make eye contact with them as they're driving around, they should not be looking at the road when they're driving past you at the junction. They should be looking at you. And it's just like, and if they just don't like put the hand up back, you're just like, you fucking tramp.
And if you see somebody that is your bestest friend, you're like out the fucking window, Lord.
Literally just smash the glass. Do you ever see that video of the Arctic Country waving? It's so funny. It's the Arctic Country waving. Watch
I probably have it
on
but
YouTube. I don't want to try and explain it because I'm not good at explaining that stuff, and it's so fucking funny. But it's just like it talks about different. It's satire, obviously. It just talks about the different types of waves. It's so funny. And it's just one of the ones that's called "Are you the fucking thick or what?" wave, where you wave at someone, they don't wave at you, and the next thing you reverse back and you pull up beside them. And just go.
yes.
For those of us in Spotify, we've been throwing the sham hand here quite repeatedly. It's so good.
We're nearly punching each other.
Anyway, moving on. So that's the versus challenge done. On to one wheel pill and
If
big
we
old
get enough
skids.
DMs, Michael will stand at the edge of Applegreen and he will have a big sign saying, "Holy fuck, there's a off."
Fuck me, there's a chaser.
Yes.
I don't know if I have the self-confidence to do that. I feel like that could go one of two ways. That would either put us on the map, or people would look at me and just go, "What a fucking twat."
We're not
reality
a
is
podcast anymore. We're a fucking village.
So I just, I don't get the reference. What's the reference?
Put us on the map.
Fuck up. Right, moving on. Have you got any?
My throat hurts now. Last time.
Have you got any? You probably haven't even done your homework. Have you got any big old skids or one wheel piles?
I didn't think you would be that slow. Or I thought you'd look at me and go like, really? But no, you actually
Never
do.
even caught on. I was like, it's just like, the thing I used to do to you in the earlier podcast videos of the R404? And I was like, brain cells not found. And that needs to be me now. But my laptop doesn't do it anymore because it's fucked. So I've kind of got away with myself. I'm not running here at all. That was really funny. I bet no one else will laugh at that. We're sitting here going, we have no reason for that to be so funny.
No.
Right.
But I'll tell you another thing. If
What?
you think it, we do. We listen to some of these things back. And we laugh at ourselves.
Aye, because no one else is going to laugh at us like me as well.
A wee bit of self-confidence,
Yes, for the third time, have you any big old skids or one-wheel piles?
How long are we second?
Right, I'll do mine in the
you
meantime.
tear away.
So, big old skid,
Mm-hmm.
because it's probably the one you'll be raging when I say this, because it's probably what you've been thinking of.
What?
That video of Quinn's at the Silage from 1992. That, whenever you showed that to me the other day, I was like, that is absolutely class.
For I grew up, and you know them older red rock chillers they had on it?
Yeah.
Like,
From
you
the
always,
80s.
You always knew about they had a 14.5 ton or 18 foot, whatever way you want to call it, and then the two 16 foots.
Yes.
And in 08, whenever we did get the 16 foot on pain,
Mm-hmm.
the 5470, like, to see that trailer in its prime
Oh, aye.
was
Yeah.
cool.
On the back of, was one of them on the back of a Marshall?
Yep, Marshall D944.
D944?
Yes. So
Never heard
they
of that.
were, essentially it was a Steyr.
Right.
Yeah, so,
I thought Marshalls were like Leylands.
so I got really bored one day and I was like, what was that Marshall that they had? So I'm near sure it was a D944. I think they were like 115 or 120.
Because I know you
horse.
get the 904.
And I think it was one of the first tractors out with a 40k box. And
Sure,
the front
Leylands fucking fly.
the front window of it opened up.
Aye, sure.
And one of the years it
Dixon's do that.
smashed.
Oh.
And I can't mind who was driving it, but they had a helmet on.
Can you imagine going to draw grass with a helmet on now?
Aye, the motorbike helmet on, yeah.
Holy fuck.
As far as I can mind, yeah, that was one of the things.
It was such a warm day.
It was a lot of no flies.
Oh,
They'd be like
they're
fucking bullets at
so
you.
bad. Lot flies are horrible.
They would have been literally like bullets at you, if you know what I mean.
Makes sense, actually. But the man and the loader in that video.
Some might call him a driver.
No.
I call him rash.
I call him a dickhead.
Like, no.
That's no way to treat a machine. So, for any of you who don't know what we're on about and you have a spare, I watched the full video. It's about 7 or 8 minutes long, isn't it?
12.
Oh, okay. Someone's been watching it more than me. Type in Quinn's.
No, I just looked at how long it was.
Type in Quinn's Classic Silage 1992 into YouTube, and the last about 8 minutes is videoing a boy in the pit. And
We'll just let you think.
I question some of his tactics and what he did and how it's like a 910 cat.
Apparently, you know the cat, the one before they have now, the main one.
Aye, it's
so
a
they kept the
921
old
or
one.
something, isn't it?
Aye,
Yeah.
921G. Or 924G, sorry.
Right.
There was the
Monster.
one they had before that.
Right.
I don't know. God help whoever got that. 910. Apparently, she was ahead of her time.
This is the same one that you said she got that warm buck ranking with your man piloting her.
Well, allegedly. I don't know
That-
if that's true or not. I don't know if
They
that
had to
can
set
happen.
that and set her weight for 2 hours to the hydraulic oil cooled. That's mad. And then there's a fella on her the year after and she never had any of the issues.
Aye.
Aye.
But
Says
looking
a
at
lot.
it now, like, just you wouldn't even get away with any of it,
Nah.
you know. But it was cool to see if a 7840, one of the first of them,
Aye, literally
like a
white
year
roof.
too old.
Aye, probably had
And
every
so it's the white
SLE
roof with
problem
the
under the sun.
black at the bottom of the white roof,
Yeah.
So the real first of them.
Yeah. It was 92. That literally she would have been a brand spanking new tractor.
I think she went in 2010 or so, maybe.
Jesus, they held on to her for long enough.
Oh, when I was younger, it was like a novelty whenever they were doing the slurry.
Mm-hmm.
it was a novelty to jump in with
Aye.
Colin Neeson, or Beckon as his nickname was.
Yeah.
Whenever he was driving that, I suppose that was like the only available tractor to draw the slurry out with.
Mm.
You know, that was probably back in the time before the ban, to be fair, as well.
Mm.
So I think every month or two they were always at ours for a day, just putting out slurry.
Aye.
But no, like it was cool to see the stuff back in the day, and the harvester. I never seen one of them move as quick.
1905, wasn't it, or
Some-
2305?
Probably something like that, yeah.
A fella up the road from me here still has a 2305
I
now.
bet it doesn't do like 10k down the road, even though it's only a 20-foot swathe.
Same boy would probably try if he could.
Any one wheel pills or any more big old skids?
I don't want to sound self-indulgent, but I'm pretty happy with how everything performed last week. My one-wheel pile is also the tractor with the disconnect of the fucking live, like the positive line, and we didn't realise, and that's why when we tried to jump her, she was going nowhere. The battery had just disconnected.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
that's my one-wheel pile. So after all the crack and all the buzzing and how well we got on at the grass, for it to turn around and just fuck me over like that the next day. That's my one wheel pile.
to be fair, my big old skid probably would be, well, the Civic, and how well it's went, and how well, like, put it this way, before she wasn't running bad, but there was a time she was
down a
running
wee bit.
lumpy and
Yeah.
stuff like that. At the end of the day, when you're running DCAT and you've nothing to tell the engine to run better that there, it's going to,
It's hardly surprising,
it-
is it?
no. Then I suppose me one wheel pill has got to be probably two things. Being woke up after 3 hours sleep to do the milking
Aye.
was, and do you know the ironic thing? There was no milkman on that day. So I got out to the yard anyway, and the fella was like, "Oh, come on, quick, milkman, blah, blah, blah." He was here yesterday. No, he wasn't. Yeah, he was. No, he wasn't. Look at the bloody date in the receipt. Oh. And then he didn't even give me a chance to get a bit of a nap. But anyway, and the other one was covering the side of the pit. Especially because not that it was through in, but like there's a lot of digging to do on the sides to get it to sit nice.
Aye.
Didn't enjoy that.
There always is whenever you've so much pressure on. Like the trailers were coming at the man and the buck rake quicker than what you could handle. Like,
Yeah. Some say you had to drink a tea every time you tipped.
you could have written a book, and every time the length of time it took the Fate to push the hydraulics up, like, was unreal. Such a slow tractor tip. But even if you watch that Fate 110 Turbos video on YouTube, and you watch your man backing into the pit, she sits there for about 3 minutes trying to tip the trailer. And it's the same size of trailer as what I was tipping. Like, it's just, you are full bore on the throttle, just sitting there waiting for the trailer to go up.
Yeah.
You're cooking the hydraulics as well. Like, it can't be good for you either.
But you need sort of that every once in a while though for the tractor. Like, it wouldn't matter. It's just a small pump on her. Like, probably would it be 50 or 60 litres a
I'm
minute?
not sure. Probably 50 litres, yeah. Probably
Like,
50 litres.
Our tractor's 110 with load sensing. The tractor before that was, I think, 70 or 80. Like, she was slow tipping. And then you hit
Aye.
the button for the dual pump to kick in.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I'd say, the pump size, really.
Questions. You're the one who has the questions there.
Oh,
So, bring out the questions.
So, Benjamin Borum, I hope I'm not.
You've met Benjamin. You met him at Ultimate Stance. He's one of the London Cartel boys.
Yes, I did.
You did. Real nice guy.
Lovely. Yes.
You know which one I'm on about?
No. I met a lot of people that weekend. To be honest with you, right, I do apologise. Like, me and names, since I've got over 25, has been shit.
Brown hair with glasses. He was the guy who was wearing...
Oh, yes. Oh, I know him now, yes.
Yeah. Really nice guy. So he has asked us specifically, explain the port car scene to non-Irish people. Is it better than it used to be, or were the old days the best? I would say if anything, it's probably we're probably in a peak. I would have said when you talk to the people of days gone by of how good the port was, used to be, you diffing, burnouts, people were there till late night, blasting music. Police didn't really give a fuck because they had other things to be at, and £30 fines weren't just didn't seem to be something they threw out as much back then, maybe. So like you hear of people like I'm talking about like 2002, 2003, talking about like going up to the old White Rocks car park outside like Port Rush, and like one's throwing hoops, and like people would be doing rollbacks and like hanging off the backs of cars, like backs of like Calibras and stuff to do burnouts and stuff like that there, and the cops just let you tear away with it. As times went on, things would get stricter. You don't really get away with that. But at the minute, I would say we're in probably a bit of a resurgence. The new blood is kind of coming in, the new generation, the TikTok generation, I guess, has definitely given it a lot more notoriety. And you're seeing like a lot of big names like coming over from England, and like half of Scotland come to the port this year. Like Easter Sunday, like there's a load of Scottish people there, a load of like Scotty Farrington or whatever you call him was over. Your guy that like basically the ultimate English filter. Like just loads of people like that coming over. Like we would last time I remember hearing of any Scottish people coming over was like John and Fraser in 2015. Eddie Noble's been over as well, but to see people actually associating the port with that level of fuck, I really need to be there. That's like the place for me to be, and actually spending that money to get in a boat and come here.
Right.
It's impressive.
I would say, right, in regards to the port, as we said before, it's like one of those events where it's not even really an event. It's just
a zeitgeist.
It's like the port is just happens to be a village or a town that just sits in a really cool location. You're beside the sea, and years and years ago, or well, not years and years, but like years gone by, everybody just sort of gathered there for a nice sunny day. And it just happened to be, I suppose, over years, like as you're saying, back in them days, people gathered, cruised about, and I would have said it's probably not as, like, in regards to that, the good old days, it's probably, the best of it's probably maybe for the wrecking carry on side of it has gone, but with the rise of like social media and that there, it's because it's now known. And to be fair to Port Carsine lads, they have a massive following.
Huge.
Like,
unreal.
I'm not going to say single-handedly probably, but like they've had a massive hand.
I would say single-handedly.
You would say single-handedly?
I would. I genuinely would.
Because it was just like you went there every Easter Sunday, or as the summer went on, you would have went down for a drive on a Sunday. You probably parked up. There would have been the odd young cub, very like not even that long ago. The odd young cub, rev your car, you would have revved it. But now, because like TikTok, everybody wants to get likes and and it's now the next generation, or your likes of your 14 to 17-year-olds now. Like, it's not even, I suppose, likes. It's more that are into cars. Like us watching the 2015 or 2014 Donegal Rally videos and getting hyped over the head of that.
Yeah.
Like, they want to go down and see a piece of action too.
Yeah.
And then, like TikTok, it's like anything, good algorithm, and more people's going to see it. And like see your ones in Scotland and England and that might have come across it and be, intrigued by it.
Yeah.
So it's not a show. It's not really catered for anything
just
like
culture.
That. It's just culture.
It's just culture. Just culture. And a nice bit of culture to have.
And it just happens to be that if you could do it on TripAdvisor, great lapping route.
Great lapping route. 5 out of 5 on Conor's TripAdvisor.
10 out of 5, lad.
10 out of... Fuck me, boys. We're going up in the world. So Tiernan Walsh wrote this and said, are we going to the rally? Yes.
I replied to him.
Yes,
but
Tiernan.
we just
we
to
are going to
clarify
the rally.
That. Yes, we are.
What else have we got then? Should have been much more proactive. Arn FFF56. Shout out to the Cocaine Corolla on TikTok, listening to the podcast out in Cork. Fair fucking play. Don't know what the cocaine Corolla is. I don't know whether the man's smuggling drugs or whether he's got cocaine and caviar written across the front of it or whether it's a white car. I don't know.
I looked at the photo and it seems to be a white car.
Well, fair play.
Well, I think that.
Well, here, if we're going to Cork, there's one listener.
Yes.
Yes, we've got a listener.
To be fair, somebody else Snapchatted me.
You're getting Snapchats? Holy fuck. We do forget things. Rona Manelli has said that you should get a Hondata and a supercharger before the year's out. Well, you've got Hondata.
To be honest,
Go for 400 brake, apparently.
I want to stay in Aper.
Aye.
I just enjoy the noise too much.
You know what, as well? And you see this in, I actually know the fella personally, so Black, turbocharged,
Yes.
Civic. You know, you can jump in your car, drive it. You know, look at the problems I've had. Look at the problems. I'm not running anything down. It's a very, very bespoke car. Needs a lot of special care and attention. You know, when you're going for like fucking 600 brake out of an EP3. So, you know, his car has to be. He does obviously enjoy it, but it's not going to be like yours. You know, a car like that's going to be a ticking time bomb. Same as my car. You can jump in your car and drive it, and there's so much to be said for that. Yes, a Roadside supercharger in your car would make it absolutely fucking insane.
Or a Jackson Racing one, yeah.
Or a Jackson Racing one would make it absolutely insane. But
I'm just happy with my car.
Yeah.
I am what they call content.
well, you're not really a car boy because car boys are never content.
Well,
And you're also not upset and sad about your car at all times.
true. True. Yes, very true.
And Gary Hazelton, our Honda's gay. Yes,
Fair enough. Well, they do have all big exhaust pipes, don't they?
they do. You know what?
I'm not trying to initiate anything, by the way.
Just when we talk about Hondas, so we have talked about Hondas. I don't know whether it's a Sport or a 1.4, but someone around here has got a really big loud straight through the exhaust on either a 1.4 or a Sport. It's really loud. I don't see why someone would get like a full 3-inch straight through on like a 1.4.
Is it like a 3-inch?
Well, I don't know, but it sounds like it. It's so loud and so drony. If you are going to straight pipe your car, please size it accordingly with your engine.
Yes.
Because big, drony exhausts on small displacement cars just does not sound.
See, ironically, when I was 16, I was like, oh, I would love like an EP2 with just a big, massive exhaust on it. And my cousin, who taught you, was like, no, you don't. He was right.
He was right. He was right. Fair play, tell him. He knew the way before you knew the way. Holy fuck, we are at an hour and a half at this point.
Fucking midnight. Fucking midnight.
Oh man, right, well we're not far off here. Okay, so a few shout outs. Adrian McAllister, I've been told to let him know there's a chicken outside his house. You get that reference, don't you? I'm sure Adrian will not find out who.
I did cross the road to get to his house.
Not asking. Don't want to go down that route. So I'm sure Adrian will not take. Sure, Adrian will figure out who sent that one on.
I have one quick one. I can't mind if I did it before, but Gemma's co-worker, Gemma, her partner, fellow Ryan Clark. Now Gemma's car knowledge wouldn't be same as her own,
It wouldn't be up there, no.
but apparently he listens to the podcast.
Ah, fair play, tell him.
And it has enlightened his thoughts on trying to soup up, do up, modify, spruce up.
I love how she's went through all the different words there.
I just did that there now for added effect.
Oh, right. I thought
Shut the fuck up, would you?
No, that would be a very Gemma. That'd be a Gemma thing to do.
Yeah.
Like send across, spruce up, do up.
I'm not sure if it was a course of B or a course of C or a course of D, but he's going to maybe spruce up a Corsa. So shout out to Ryan.
Fair play, Dylan.
Yeah.
I also have a child, Connor Burns, who I work with him.
Ironically, the last podcast, That name would have suited me really well.
Connor Burns. I said Connor Roasted, maybe it would have been a better one. But he so me and him went down to Cork there a couple of weeks ago, and he, before we jumped in the car, he goes, I'm trying to give your podcast a chance here. And I went, right, well, let's not listen to it as we go down the road here. So I tell him I'd throw him a mention, and he'll probably never hear it, but
Well,
fair play, Connor.
I don't know how long this will be now, whenever the time it's edited, but he probably likes the sound of our voices if he's listened this far. And
my cousin Paul was at my wee cousin's communion.
what type of accent was that?
My standard one. Anyway, I was at my wee cousin's communion there a couple of weeks back.
My cousin Paul.
Paul goes to me, he's like, I heard your podcast. And I was like, really? And he was like, I listened to it. And I was like, fair play. Thank you very much. So, if he's still listening, he's got a shout out. Good man, Paul.
If I can get it.
Oh, you've another one, have you?
I think so. Wait.
Sure, I'll throw out my next one while you're looking. Mickey Lavelle, at least that's his Facebook name. Anyway, reached out to me and said he actually gave me quite a good idea. He says, now I think he has a micro, so he was like, "Oh, you should do an episode on the likes of micros and likes of starlets and stuff like that." So like first time cars, which we kind of did cover, but it's some we could definitely go in a bit more detail, like specifically small displacement first time cars, micros, 106s, etc. like that. There, starlets, kind of cool retro stuff. So we'll probably end up doing a podcast on that. Did you find your other? Yeah.
So at the port there on Sunday, Niall McGarry's, I guess, younger brother.
Is his younger brother or cousin?
I don't know. All I can say is he's a spitting image.
Right.
He is a spitting image. He might not realise that. He might not like that. But I know Niall brave and well.
Does he get on like Niall?
See, I didn't exactly jump out and have a cup of tea with them and have a yarn, for too long. So it's funny, they both like Toyotas.
Yes.
But
Niall had a Norris. With Kane mud flaps or something.
Aye, and trailer lights at the back of her.
And Peter's got a GT86. Plus, is it turbo? Is it?
It's got
a single exit exhaust, which I thought was interesting.
It sounds well.
Aye.
To be fair, no, he said he listens to it and he enjoys it, so hopefully you enjoy this bit of a shout out. As per usual, I've probably butchered it on you. Apologies.
He's waited a while for it.
He said,
fair.
Well, is it getting easier? No.
This episode, no, because we're both absolutely fucked. And it's been just been flat out for that.
Put it this way, when I go to bed now at night,
I'm sleeping.
I have a wee fan on to keep me a bit colder and the window open a bit. By God, I can't be got up in the morning.
No, fuck.
Because all last week after the silage,
took about 4 days to get back to the sleeping pattern again.
Not even that. There I was at Slurry, and then see whenever you're driving and there's nobody else there or there's nothing the way you're going to the pit, you're tipping,
yeah,
you're trying to get back to the harvester, you're constantly going.
Yeah.
Whenever you don't have that, you're at 3 o'clock and you're like, oh, I need a doze.
Yeah.
And then you get the resurgence, later on in the evening time. I bet.
You get the 3 o'clock slump. Well, anyway, let's wrap it up. So,
thanks everybody for listening for so far. Hopefully you've enjoyed this podcast. Sorry to the people who will think we have butchered Donegal Rally, but we probably have butchered Donegal Rally.
There's no doubt about it. We've 100% butchered Donegal Rally.
Hopefully we've given a bit of an insight to what it's like if you're not from Ireland.
Or even if you're from down the country and have never been to visit.
Or if you've never tried it.
It's definitely a deadly spot to go to.
It would probably be the best time of the year, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just wish me and you were maybe a bit more adventurous back in our days of youth and went to the campsite and stuff like that there, and we could have stories from some of the absolute fucking madness that goes on in the campsite.
Some disclaimers, we never did the campsite.
Nope.
I've never owned a rear drive car to diff it, so I can't say that. I've only actually had the opportunity to go on 3 occasions. Twice were just 2 Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
Once down with Adam in the yellow Lexus.
Oh, aye. 2016.
Where I was just drinking. The time with yourself in the Type R.
Yes.
And then last year we done the weekend.
Yes.
Though we're just that bit older now, and last time we done the weekend, we were in bed by like 10.
I was
'cause
so
we were blittered.
stressed.
So a lot of the things that you could probably, a lot of ones would probably want the mad stories.
We're not crazy enough to give out them mad stories.
Well, like I missed a year because I was in England driving a tractor.
I missed a
earning money.
year because I was in Vietnam.
Would I miss it now? No.
No. I feel like if you didn't go, there'd be some sense of FOMO would kick in.
Oh, mental.
Because even when you see the videos, like, we're kind of coming back. When you see the videos, like for instance, like that M3 in 2015, absolutely wrecking itself at the rash centre, the Letterkenny carton, the grey M3, and your man literally driving the bumpers off it, and you see videos like that, you're like, fuck, I wish I was there. Like, stuff like that. That's what you go to see. Like, you don't really want to see someone destroy their car, but if someone's willfully wrecking their car,
But like, where else would you go, right? That you go by quite, I would say maybe say an upmarket hotel, quite a nice hotel like the Clanry,
yeah.
and there's nothing but like twin cams and all outside.
Oh, it's unreal. You
That
drive
is
by, it's
cool.
like, it's like a fucking car show outside.
There's nowhere I would say anywhere else that you would go and see the likes of that.
maybe somewhere
down,
like Wallersea or Rally the Lakes or something.
But not them type of cars. You'd see like supercars and that maybe in there and stuff.
Or
Whereas, yeah, it's just that time.
fucking
when
Skylines,
everybody-
Abraxas, Sierras, twin cams, yeah, Sylvias. It's a deadly place, and I can't wait to get down and run again this year. As long as I can get my car sorted beforehand.
Yeah,
Fingers
all going
crossed.
well. But anyway, sorry again. We'll take 2 at this year. So thanks everybody for listening. If you've got this far, God help you.
Fair play.
It's time to wrap up the podcast. And Michael,
Best of luck. I am Michael Scullin _ on Instagram and TikTok, but to be honest, I don't really use TikTok anymore because I use the Limited Slip Differences TikTok instead for everything now because it's more popular.
ironically, I have not posted anything on Instagram in a long time or Facebook, and posting TikTok. But anyway, I am Conor.McGow on basically everything at this stage. Have a nice one.
Best
We're
of
now
luck.
going to go to bed.
Fuck, I am shattered. Right.
Yes.
See you later. Best luck.
Good day.
Good day.